Hey folks, how y'all doing? Trent Clark here with Mallett Buildings. Happy Monday to you. Let's get this show started. And I'm starting at the wrong place here. My clicker's not working. Technical difficulties here on a Monday. Okay. Oh, is this not, this is where I'm starting?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, sorry about the technical difficulties, people. Here we go. Like every week, we like to start out with our $500 discount to healthcare workers, educators, first responders, and military personnel. If you're one of those people and looking for a building, make sure you grab that $500 discount, okay? Also, we get $1,000. That's a lot of money towards a building, folks. If you're looking to upgrade your building to a signature or an elite, go ahead and grab this, type in cash to a live feed just like this one, and get your $1,000 off to one of those buildings, okay? This week's specials, folks, here we go. You got your classic building, it's a 30 by 30, okay? But this is kind of like a enclosed building. You got a 30 by 30 by 12, you got a 30 by 25 by 12 enclosed gable. You got a 10 by 55 rear awning, okay? And then you also got a 8 by 8 front porch. 2 36 walk-through doors, 1 French door. I think that's a glass French door type thing. You got 1 8 by 18 roll-up door, 2 3 by 5 windows. Our classic building is a 4-year workmanship warranty, okay? 2 3 by 3 windows, 5 on 12 roof pitch, standard on all of our buildings. 2 by 8 scissor truss or vaulted truss, however you want to say them, standard here at Mallett, folks. You must understand that those two things I just mentioned, your 5 on 12 roof pitch and your 2 by 8 scissor truss, most companies that do what we do, you can't get that, okay? You might be able to get the 5 on 12 roof pitch. They're going to charge you a whole lot extra for it. It's standard here at Mallett. And also the 2 by 8s is superior to anything out there. Our competitors can't do that. They can't buy them and they can't build them, okay? So remember that. Cable retention system. Superior than anything. It helps with that uplift of your building. 26 gauge metal, concrete under every post as a pad underneath your post, okay? 4-inch, 4,000 PSI. Remember, that's not the best part. You're backed by 26 years of experience. We are licensed residential and commercial, and we are a residential engineering firm, which today is Monday, so you get to hear from Darrell. He's coming up after me. So remember, folks, classic building, this is a great special. I'll get them to put a picture of this building maybe tomorrow so you can see what it looks like. And then you got a classic, another classic, a 30 by 30 by 12, 5 on 12 roof pitch, 110 by 10 roll up door, 136 walk through door. Concrete includes 4,000. Remember, our competitors use 3,000. 4,000 is 33% stronger, okay? So remember that. 4-year workmanship warranty. This building is 130 mile an hour wind rated. We're going to change that. You got 26 gauge metal standard on all of our buildings here. Concrete under every post, just like the last one I just told you, has a footing or a pad, 2x8 scissor truss, cable retention system. Those two last items are very big on all of our buildings. Our competitors just can't do that. That's why you know, our buildings stand through the test of like the storms in Cameron, like we showed you last week. Okay, another building, you got a 40 by 50. And these buildings, folks, they are on special, but we want you to call in our building specialist so you can find out that special price. But this was the same as the last building I just told you, but it's a 40 by 50. Great price. Call our building specialist. They'll give you a special. This is our Elite series, okay? See, our Elite, you get all the bells and whistles. Folks, anything you can ever want in a post-frame building or a building, you get in the Elite Special. Okay, number one, kiln-dried lumber. We talked about that. Why is that so important? It's superior to anything out there. Okay, it's MCA ground treated. Okay, 2x8 truss, 9-foot post spacing. Remember, on the Elite, you are going to get 145 mile an hour wind load. And how we're going to do that is with our cable retention system and our post spacing and truss spacing. You know, your truss spacing is going to be 3 foot apart, and your post spacing is 9 foot apart. Engineered mono truss if you have a wing. Remember, our competitors are going to give you rafters. We build our own truss here. We quality test them here at Mallett. We love to show you. 5 on 12 roof pitch, engineered cable retention system, concrete under every post. We got 3 specials. You got a 30 by 50 by 12, a 40 by 50 by 12, and a 40 by 60. Now, the real special is you call it in, but we're giving you, let me see, right here, bonus upgrades. There's some upgrades on this building this week. You need to call our building specialists, and they're going to let you know what those are. But on the Elite, you got, you know, 6-inch concrete versus 4-inch. That's 2.5 times stronger than the 4-inch that you got on our Classic. Okay, we're still going to use the 4,000 psi. We're going to cut control joints. We want to tell that concrete where we want it to crack, right? Because look, you know, concrete's going to crack. You're going to have some surface crack. So what the control joints do is we're pretty much telling it where we want to crack so it doesn't look bad when it does crack. Okay, so that's what that is. And then here it is, your choice of 2 10 by 10, 12 by 12, or 12 by 14 roll-up doors on any 3 of these buildings. You get that extra. We normally charge way more for those different size doors. Also extra, you get to pick your height. We usually charge $4,000 or $5,000 on a height adjustment, especially if you go to 16 foot. We're throwing that in on this Elite Special, okay, for free. So that's tremendous. You call in our building specialists, they tell you the price. But right here on this ad, it says we're throwing those 2 items in, okay? So you get 1 walk-through door, and on the Elite Specials, you're going to get roof and wall insulation, 26 gauge metal standard. On all your doors and windows, we're going to put a 4x4 post in the ground, and that's going to help strengthen we're still going to trim it out with a 2x6 like our competitors do, but we go the extra mile, and we're going to put 4x4s to really rigid that up behind those walk-through doors and windows. Okay, gutters. You're going to get gutters and gutter brush in the Elite Special. It's really, you know, a good system. The brushes work really well to keep the pine needles and stuff out. Wainscoting free on the Elite. Continuous ridge vents, Zac screws. Remember, that's the screws that actually cover that gasket, protect it from the sun, because sun is dry that out and start brittling away. Post protectors, very important on the Elite Special. On the look, peace of mind when you get on the Elite. You get 10-year workmanship warranty. This building is 145 mile an hour wind rating. Licensed engineer on staff, Mr. Darrel. You're going to meet him in a minute. We got Secure Watch. What does that mean? We have all of our builders have taken pictures and videos from the time your building leaves our shop. We are taking videos and our pictures so we can view, and somebody at this office is viewing it the whole step of the building process. Very important. You get Lee's cell phone on when you buy a building, so if you have any problems, you can call him directly. 26 years of experience, that says a lot, folks. We've been doing this for 26 years, and look, we just don't keep the same old thing. We're constantly improving our processes, okay? And that's what you get. You get a building like this, the best in the country, the Elite Special, and because we don't stop. We continue to grow and build a better building for you, the customer. All right, now let's see what else we got. Still got this Cajun Oasis. This building is doing very well. That's why we're keeping it up here. It's a 20 by 30 building for only $29,999. But wait, this thing is perfect for your backyard. If you got a place at Toledo Bend, if you got a pond in your backyard, this could be the perfect little building. Why? Because it's the elite building, which I just told you about, all the bells and whistles. But we're throwing in an electrical package, basic electrical package, and we're throwing in a 3-ton wall mount HVAC system. What does that mean? When we're done, you simply turn on the power and turn on your AC, and you're cool, ready to go. All right, this is a good package. We're selling it. If you're interested in that, call one of our building specialists. 5 red flags. Remember, people, don't it make sense to make sure that who you're going to do business with has a proper license? Especially license number 1, they need to have a business license, right? So you can check that out on the Secretary of State. That's where you can find that information. Secondly, doesn't it make sense that they have a contractor license? They should. It's the law. You need to check that out at the LSLBC. You can also find at the LSLBC if they have any contractor violations, okay? I'm proud to say here at Mallett, we don't have any after 26 years of business. So reviews on BBB and Google. Look, we have 500 plus reviews. I'm not saying that because I want to rub that in to our competitors' face. I'm saying it because I'm proud of it, okay? And we're proud of that, okay? Our competitors don't have any. That says something for a company that's been here this long. So that could be a red flag if they don't have any, right? That means you know they might not even be associated with the BBB. I don't know. But then lastly, red flag number 5, find out where they conduct business. Doesn't it make sense that they have a facility or at least an office space somewhere? Even if it's an office at their house, that's better than the front seat of their truck. It might be a red flag if that's the case, folks. That's all we're saying. So most people compare buildings like apples to oranges. Our buildings come with 2x8 scissor truss. Folks, like I said, our competitors just can't do that. They can't buy it anywhere, and they don't make it, okay? We can do that because we make it here, all right? 2x6 purlings and girts, 24-inch on center, you know, 10-year workmanship warranty, lifetime treated lumber, number 1 grade, structural 2x12 carriers, okay? That's very important. Our competitors don't do that. This is what all the weight of your truss is sitting on, that's tied into the post, okay? Most of our competitors are going to use 2x8s, 2x8s, 2x12. I can get the numbers from you, but are superior, way more superior than 2x8s. And all your truss are sitting on this. That's important, folks. Let's see, where did I leave off? Engineered cable retention system. You know, it's truly is an example of, if you go look at Darrel K's, an example of how the cable retention system works. It works because it interlocks all the posts underneath that slab, and when you have an uplift, it's got to take the whole slab up to get your building. It's proven. It's superior than anything else out there, and our competitors don't do that. Real warranty, real engineering, folks. So let's see. Why choose Mallett over competitors? Just what I just got finished saying. This is our competitors. 2x6 posts, 26 gauge metal on roof and wall. Maybe. Most of them use 29. One free walk-through door, 40-year warranty against fade, caulk, blah, blah, blah. Also, their truss might be 2x6 truss with 2x4 inner webbing, or most of them are 2x4 truss. Okay, here at Mallett, okay, we have so much stuff on Mallett. This is our competitor. So much stuff on us here at Mallett that we couldn't even put it up against the slide. So I went over a lot of this already, but you got 10-year workmanship warranty. Number one, dry kiln MCA treated lumber, 2x8 scissor truss standard, 5/12 roof pitch, 2 free roll-up doors, free roof and wall installation, 6-inch seamless gutters and gutter brushes, 2 3x5 insulated windows, okay? Lifetime warranty against termite, rot, rust, and fungal decay. All right, that's not it, folks. Hold on. I got a whole nother slide. All right, ridge vents, 6-inch, which is 2.5 times stronger than 4-inch, 4,000 PSI concrete, which is, our competitors use 3,000. We're 33% stronger, okay? It's very important. Then when you add the microfiber, remember, we choose to use the microfiber because we take the guesswork out. We know that we're putting the certain amount per yard of concrete where we know it's going in the whole volume of your concrete. Our competitors are going to use a rusty wire mesh that they hope that they get in the middle of your slab. The only way it's going to work is if they get it in the middle of your slab. Most of the time, the concrete's too wet and that rusty metal is going to sink to the bottom. It's going to happen, I promise you. So Zach screws, roof and wall metal, we screw everything. We don't do any nails, okay? Remote picture and video monitoring for inspection, the engineered cable retention system, which I told you about 3 times already today, 145 mile an hour wind load, post pad under every 6x6 post, very important. Our competitors don't do that. All metal is screwed to the wood, post protector skirt boards. We also offer 2,000, remember, don't forget about our referral program. We're going to give you $200 every time you send somebody over to us and they buy a building, okay? I think that's it. I think now I'm going to introduce you to Darrel. Darrel, you come on up and see what you got today.
Hey, I'm Darrel Fussell. I'm the engineer here at Mallett, and I just want to go over some of the engineering innovations that Lee Mallett has come up with over the years in building these post-frame buildings. And so this is just a typical post-frame building where there's sheathing on the roof, and then there's roof purlins, and then there's trusses, and then there's wall girts, and then there's sheathing on the walls, and then there's the post. And so the big innovation that occurred in the post-frame business back in, I guess, in the 1990s was engineers with PhD degrees. They came up with the analyzing the building as using the sheathing on the walls and the roof as a diaphragm. And the easiest way to explain that without boring you to tears is to make you realize that our building functions as a big box that's anchored into the ground, very securely anchored into the ground, and it gives it tremendous strength. And I say every week that a post-frame building is the most efficient way to construct a storage structure, and it's the most economical use of your money. And so the other thing that I would say about innovations is these are some of the different types of foundations that that people used over time in the post frame business. You'll notice here these uplift anchors that they would put at the bottom of the post, and you still see these if you go on the web and research post frame buildings. But we'll talk about that in just a minute. But here is a detail where they would use a cast in place concrete pier, and then they would tie the building to that pier with beams and bolts. And that's really not the greatest detail, but what they were trying to solve, the problem they were trying to solve, was the decay of the post. And as I say about every week, where the innovation that has occurred in regards to rotting of the post is the PVC post protector. Of course, they didn't always have PVC, but they've had it a long time, and these post protectors make that post just about indestructible. And so with that in mind, well, and then the innovation, you know, it's there's a post frame manual that's got about, I think, 700 pages in it of formulas and ways to analyze these parts and pieces to the post frame, written by engineers and proven over time. That we're in the second edition now, but it's been around for 30, 40 years. And so I just wanted to go through parts of, this is a typical set of plans that we provide to you when you buy one of our buildings. And you see my stamp is on every page. And so we talk about this, and we'll talk about it more some other time. But you know, when you buy a 12-foot building, we tell you on, you can't read that, but yeah, here it is. The roll-up door is going to have a 9-foot clearance because of the wall's 12 foot tall, but you have the heel height of the post, of the truss to take into effect, and then you also have the slab to take into effect. So we say you can expect a 9-foot clearance. You might get 9'6", but it's better to expect a 9-foot. But you see and I know Trent's already mentioned this when it comes to innovation, we have this 1/8" aircraft cable that is tied to the post with a 3/8" by 6" lag screw, and we have a cable that runs diagonally and runs this way from post to post. Now, you see, that was Lee Mallett's innovation. I don't know where he got the idea. He might have gotten it from himself. And what he was trying to do was to come up with an effective way to prevent uplift. And you don't get uplift in a normal hurricane. You get uplift in these weird storms, these tornado events. And if you go back to the beginning where we talked about it, here, let me go real quick. Yeah, there it is. That's what the guys up in the Midwest were doing whenever they started requiring or detailing this blocking, was to prevent that uplift, or this footing cast integral with a pier, and it was in a bell shaped. They were trying to overcome that uplift. And Lee came up with something that has proven to work much better, and he's seen it over the 20-something years that he's been building these things, and he's seen buildings go through storm events and the posts stay in the ground, these uplift events like tornadoes. And so it's a great detail. And when you have the sole slab, so when this building starts feeling this extreme forces, the whole slab and all the parts and pieces are working together. And you know, engineering innovation is different than design, because engineering innovation involves design numbers, but it also involves some personal experience. And you know, we see this over time. Sometimes people do things and overcompensate as engineers, but the good engineer finds something that works and doesn't go overboard with it. And so, I believe that's what this represents. And so that's a close-up of that detail with the 6-inch long lag bolt into every post underneath the concrete, so the concrete slab is sitting on top of it. And then the other thing, let's see, there was one more slide I thought. Did I go through it? Maybe I didn't get it in there. Yeah, okay. So the other thing that I was going to tell you about was the fact that all of our truss drawings are stamped. And they're stamped by a different engineer. There's an engineering company. That's all they do is stamp trusses. So they're truss experts. They design trusses every day. And the thing that you need to understand is your particular address has a wind load. Right where we're sitting here, it might be 130 miles an hour. You go 30 miles to the south, it might be 140 miles an hour. You go all the way down to the coast, it might be 150 miles an hour. And that 150 miles an hour, 140, 130, that equates through a lot of formulas and parts in a book called ASC 7, gives you, it takes the miles per hour, and you, at the end of those formulas, you get a pounds per square foot. And that's what your trusses are designed for. Sometimes we recently had somebody that wanted for us to design a truss that would hold 225 pounds per square foot. Well, I mean, that would hold a bulldozer. And I think maybe they just didn't understand 225 pounds per square foot is not the same thing as 225 miles per hour, which is more than we designed for. I think the highest wind load on the map is 180, 190 down in Florida, I think. But it's not a one-to-one ratio. It's a complicated formula. And so, but anyway, you don't have to worry about that. If you buy a building from us, your plans are stamped, your trusses are stamped, and it's built properly, and it'll last. And so I think that's all we have today. And I will be back next week to tell you some exciting stuff. And Mr. Lee will be back with you tomorrow probably to give